Hello, everyone. We are here with Nathan Mather. We'll get right to it. I'll ask you your first question, which is, why are you running for the Board of Supervisors?
That's a good question. I suppose everybody's got to answer that. The reason I'm running, I'm from Muscatine, born and bred here. Left for school and for a little while, but came back here to raise my family. It's a wonderful place. There's so much great that's going on in Muscatine. I just really want to be a part of continuing to help it prosper. Want to do my part and give back to the community that's given me so much. So that's really the goal I have in running. And I think that there's some skills I have and some expertise that hopefully we can use to improve the county.
The Board of Supervisors handles a wide variety of topics for our county. What experiences do you have that makes you feel qualified for this office?
Well, I've learned a lot in the 4 years I've been a supervisor. I think anytime you run for an office, you get in, you don't quite know what you're getting into. So the Board of Supervisors certainly handles the administration of the county, handling the budget, and so on and so forth. But a lot of what we do is in bringing our expertise to various boards. And now in my day job, I'm an attorney, and what an attorney really has to do is constantly learn what his or her clients need, how to listen to them, and how to connect them with their goals. And so I think that's one of the real skills that I bring to the county is I don't have all the answers, but I know there are great people out there that do. And so my mission, my goal has been to find those people, bring them together, get them working together, and then take their ideas and put them into practice in the most profitable way for Muscatine County as possible.
COVID-19 has driven many decisions made by all levels of government and households in Iowa. After the health and safety of Muscatine County residents, what are your biggest concerns we will face as we continue through the pandemic?
Well, obviously, health and safety, as you say, are the paramount. The biggest issues are how do we strike that balance? Are we ever going back to that normal? Was taking my 4-year-old to preschool the other day, and I saw him with his little mask. He's got this little shark mask on he loves. And I thought, this kid is going to think it's normal to go to school in a mask. That's what we have to figure out. What is this the new normal? Are we going to be able to go back? And so striking that balance is really key, because if we don't, if we lock down until everything's safe, well, we're never going to unlock. And in the meantime, there's real life and health concerns that are happening. Alcoholism is up, reports of domestic abuse, heck, even suicide is really going up, not just here, but everywhere. And so we have to find a way to strike that balance to continue to prosper in this county while still figuring out how we keep them safe. So really that balance is crucial. And I think that our ability to listen, to consult everyone, and to make judgment calls weighing competing concerns is really crucial. And that's something I hope to be able to continue.
In your opinion, what is the number one issue facing Muscatine County at this time, and how would you address this issue?
The number one issue facing Muscatine County at this time? Well, I could cheat and say there's a lot, and so I'll give some honorable mentions. I think mental health is one of my passions. I think it's a big concern, but I think the largest problem that applies to the most amount of people right now is the lack of good affordable housing in Muscatine County. And we have almost 10,000 people coming from other counties into Muscatine County to work every day. And that's in part a testament to the great resources we have, but it's also pretty indicting when we talk about where those folks could be living. Just imagine if they could live here, if we could bring them in. And we've got a lot of reasons why that's the case. Unfortunately, in a lot of our communities, there's a large amount of red tape. To build a new house, the builders I talked to are telling me it's about $200 minimum per square foot, which means a 1,000 square foot house, which is right in the modest range, is going to cost you $200,000. young folks can't find starter homes. Even folks who have a little bit more in the bank are finding it difficult. So that really is the biggest problem we face. And I'm addressing it in a lot of different ways by, we're studying the problem, but I'm also working with builders to improve the number of housing additions, to open new housing, including out in the county. And as a result, I think we're going to see an improvement. It's going to take time, but we're going to see that improvement.
If you win the election, how will you work with fellow supervisors to better the lives of Muscatine County residents?
Well, in large part, we'll continue doing what we've done for the last 4 years. And we have a great bunch of folks on the Board of Supervisors. And that's not just the current crop. That's, because we have staggered elections, we had to deal with some new supervisors coming on in 2018. So that's always a learning curve. But, I think the kind of culture that we have on the Board of Supervisors is one of collegiality. We all have different experiences. I'm an attorney. We've got a guy who works for Monsanto. We've got builders and developers. We have a guy who worked on the roads, business people. So by leveraging this breadth of experience, we all have different ideas on how to solve problems. And of course, we are listening to the folks that we hire to advise us and to run our departments as well, which is, I think, very important. So, we have an atmosphere of respect, and I think that's kind of rare in government these days. Whether it's a Democrat or Republican, we don't care. We're just interested in working together. And I think you've seen that. We get along well, we like each other, and that's what I hope to continue to be able to do for the benefit of the folks who live here.
The topic of mental health has been raised as one of the key issues facing Muscatine County. Please give us your perception of the current situation and what you would do if elected to address the issue at the state and local level.
Sure. So you give me a minute and a half to address mental health, and that's probably a day and a half. But suffice it to say that there's a mental health crisis. If you break your leg, no one thinks it weird if you go to the doctor. But if you tell someone, hey, I'm depressed, I need to see somebody, they get a little bit like this, and people hide it. They're stigmatized. So that's one of the things that I've been fighting, trying to normalize mental health. When I ran 4 years ago, the folks in my party, I'm a Republican, were saying, Nathan, that's not a Republican issue. I said, I know, it is a human issue. It's one we all need to be concerned about. The current status is we have a lot of funding challenges. The way the regions were set up in 2014, 2015, both by the state and past supervisors, left a lot to be desired. And that's not entirely their fault. It's just we're trying to figure something new out and how to do it. So what we've had to do is work to reform both the structure of our mental health region that we're in and to change how we make our contracting practices with healthcare providers. So that's what I want to continue to do. It's a work in progress. We're not there yet, but by addressing the funding situations, by addressing how we do the contracting, and by continuing to raise awareness and destigmatizing mental illness, I think we can really make a difference in the lives of those who are suffering in silence.
Economic development in Iowa, specifically Muscatine County, are also hot topics. How do you feel the Board of Supervisors can support economic growth and development in Muscatine County?
Well, I'm going to tell you that the Board of Supervisors has never created a single job. The city of Muscatine has never created a single job. Government doesn't create jobs. What government does, or should do, is provide a framework of security and stability so that the people who do create jobs, the people who go out and work hard, can actually do that. We want to stay out of their way. So how do we do that? We make sure we minimize red tape and unnecessary regulation. We keep our taxes low, and even if they can't always be low, they can be stable. Because if you go like this, every year people are trying to figure out what they're going to do. They don't have that stability. We need stability. We need common sense. And there's a lot of great ideas, a lot of pie in the sky ideas, and a lot of ideas that we're just not ready for yet. One of the things that we had looked at was the developing the port on the river. And I think that's a great idea for the future. But right now, that's not something that we're able to do, both because we lack the resources and because the research is telling us that there's not enough business right there to make it worthwhile. So we could have this great shiny new port and then no one comes. So it really is being intelligent and very wise about the decisions you make. So some of the things that we have done, we've tried to keep bureaucratic regulation, so permitting, new construction, we've tried to keep those things to a minimum. Of course, we want to guarantee safety, but we don't want to make it so that people spend more time jumping through hoops than working and getting the job done. So that's something, really economic development comes down to people, not government. And we just want to make sure that they can do it.
Awesome. All right. Last question. What is the most important thing you would like voters to know about you that they may not already know?
Wow. Well, that makes me think what the voters know about me and what they don't. I don't know. I'm a guy who's facing health challenges of my own. I have diabetes, and I have a history of depression. And those things have affected me greatly. And I see that more and more in people around us, and I really have compassion for that. Our public health department does a great job with diabetes education. But even so, something like 20% of the people in Muscatine County are already diabetic or pre-diabetic, just like me. And far too often, folks don't know how to control it, or they don't have the resources to control it. So that's why we've taken to expanding access to things like insulin and educational care, so folks with diabetes can get the training they need. Because if you control it, you can live with it. If you don't control it, it's a killer. The same thing with mental illness. I've really pushed to address it because of the challenges that it's given me in my own life. I think, I think God prepares us with the suffering that we go through to be a comfort to others. And so I really feel blessed in order to be able to take the suffering that I've had, and by no means is it in the past. This is certainly something I still deal with from time to time. But I can use that and understand and empathize with others and really help them. So, we all have important things that we want to do, but we're all normal people. And I guess that's what I'd like folks to know, that I'm just like them and want to help the problems that they're facing in real life.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for answering all of our questions. Good luck.
My pleasure. Thank you, Ashley.
Yep.